Hello, and welcome to another episode of Be a Leader podcast, where we talk about current events in sports, military, and business through the lens of leadership. And today we're going to talk about that great semifinal game. Well, depends on the way you look at it, of Indiana demolishing Oregon. At halftime, it was 35-7, and the final score was 56-22. This game was not even close. The talent disparity was huge. But I'm not going to be talking about talent. I'm going to talk about leadership in this video. Let's talk about leadership and how it impacted this game. So, the first reason why Indiana beat Oregon is because they don't self-sabotage. Man, they don't self-sabotage. Most teams lose to themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot, all right? But Indiana does not. They entered this game with a 20-plus margin on turnovers. So whenever a turnover happened, they got the ball. And at the end of the season, they got the ball 20 times more than the opponents. And by halftime against Oregon, they had 3 more turnovers. The first play of the game, Oregon had the ball. They threw the ball, got intercepted by Indiana, ran back for a touchdown, pick 6. Sorry if you haven't watched the game yet, it's a spoiler. But the first play of the game started on a turnover. Indiana does not self-sabotage. The other statistic that's really important is fouls, right? In football, they throw this yellow flag up. It means there's a penalty. And most teams do a lot of self-inflicting damage on these penalties. Indiana was the second lowest in the whole country. The only team that have less penalties, be more disciplined, is Army. Good for them candidates becoming, future soldiers, right? So the second most disciplined team when it came to penalties after Army was Indiana. Good on them. This is not luck. This is not by chance. It takes a lot of discipline to play disciplined, right? And they put themselves in this position. What does this mean? They don't beat themselves. Yeah, I'll keep talking about it. Most people beat themselves up. They make you earn everything. The term I use when I coach college basketball now that I coach high school is no free cookies. And for me, free cookies, when we have the ball and we're supposed to be scored and we turn it over by pretty much handing them the ball, and they run all the way to the court and score a free layup. We do all this work to try to get a good shot, and we give them a free layup. That to me is a free cookie. And I tell my teams, no free cookies. Don't give away free points. Make them earn every single point they get, because we're going to get our points too, but we're not going to give anything away. All right. Most organizations fail because they're doing some kind of self-sabotage to themselves. It's not the competition that's the challenge. It's themselves. It's what they're doing. It's how they're running things. In the Marine Corps, we say this phrase, complacency kills. The enemy's already trying to kill us. Why are we going to make it any easier, right? We can't be killing ourselves. And how you do that is by discipline. Everything has discipline. Because if you either do it everywhere or you don't do it, right? You can't have discipline in the big things and you can't do it on the small things. It starts in the very morning. The way you make your rack in the morning. And that's civilian speak would be making your bed, right? But making your rack in the morning, how you have your uniform, how you have your weapon, how you have all your serialized gear, the way you check in and check out during the day, the communication methods. There's discipline upon everything, because all those little things stack up. Discipline is paramount. So going back to companies, some companies might have great products, but everything else, the poor operational habits, maybe poor financial structure, right? Maybe the way they deal with their employees, their HR, maybe they have rules, but they don't enforce the rules, right? Self-sabotage at the end of the day. We'll talk about it at a personal level. And this hurts because I include myself in this, okay? We all have certain goals, or we've had certain goals, and we are the reason why we don't reach those goals. Right? It's a self-sabotage. Maybe we limit ourselves. Maybe we're like, I can't do that. But you really can. You limit yourself. That's self-sabotage. All right. Maybe you don't have boundaries, so everyone's stepping all over you. No boundaries? That's self-sabotage. Maybe you finally decide that, these things are important to me and these are my boundaries. But don't stick up for yourself. Self-sabotage, right? Maybe you have no social support system to help you when things get hard, having someone that's going to help you achieve the things that are important to you. No social support system. Self-sabotage. We've all done it. Maybe we're doing it right now. Okay? But at the end of it, you're the problem, not the circumstance, right? Not what's going on around you. It's you setting up your system. And if you're not doing it right, it comes back to you. Right? So on this topic, real quick, I have two things to help you. I'm not just going to tell you, right? I can help you. One is I have a free call masterclass on how to become the person for 2026. I cover three things that are essential ingredients to finally become that person. Take a look at the details if you're curious on that. It's a free call. But I also have a program, and it's to guarantee for you to become a confident leader. If you want to feel confidence, this is the program for you. Okay. Make an investment to finally make that happen. I do have a money back guarantee because I believe in it. And if you don't believe me, look at the testimonials and the things that people have done, gone through this program. It's an investment to finally become a confident person, a confident leader. Take a look at the description on that too. But anyways, ways to actually help you beyond just talking about this in this podcast. So the question I have for you, right, is what things that are important to you that you are making self-inflicted wounds, that you are self-sabotaging yourself right now? Could be in your daily life, could be in your leadership, could be in your work. What areas are you shooting yourself in the foot? Right. That's the question I have for you right now. And then let's get back to the football game. Okay. Indiana beating Oregon. The second reason why Indiana beat Oregon is the emphasis on production over potential. Production over potential. I wish those were my words. I took them from Coach Cignetti. I don't know where he got them from, but I'm going to keep using them. Okay. So let's look at the talent. All right. In this semifinal, there's four teams playing the semifinal. We have Miami, we have Ole Miss, Indiana, Oregon. All right. Oregon, Indiana. So the way they evaluate talent coming out of high school is they gave them a grade at 5 stars. Okay. So 5 is the most. It's pretty much saying like you're going to go pro. Okay, so it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or no stars. Most of these programs are going to look for at least 4 stars and 5 stars. So if we look at that metric, we have Ole Miss and Miami. We know they had at least 40 4 and 5 stars out of their roster, out of, 90 players that they have, whatever it is, right? So they have at least 40, both Ole Miss and Miami. You go to Oregon, they have 55. 55 of their players were the highest ranked players that you can get ranking. Get to Indiana. They had 8. Oregon 55, Indiana 8. And out of those 8, none of them were 5 stars. They had 4 stars, 8 of them, playing against 55 4 and 5 stars recruits. So out of talent alone, Oregon should have destroyed Indiana. But it was the other way around. Indiana destroyed Oregon. It was not even close. Cignetti used this term, production over potential. It's too easy to get starstruck by resumes, or in this case, their running time or their jumping time or these amazing looking things, and not focus on what they're actually producing. Okay. I love that question. What have you done? What have you done? There's this player at Sarah, he's a receiver. He's one of the receivers there for Indiana. And his story is very interesting. It's right on point here. Coming out of high school, he had no Division I offers. So that Division I out of 3 divisions. No Division I offers, so he went to a smaller school. During that time, he did well. He produced. As he was trying to transfer, Coach Cignetti was at James Madison University, JMU, was looking for a receiver. He found Sarah. He saw that he had 40 catches that season. Wow, this guy knows how to catch the football in football games during the whole season. He brings him from that smaller school to James Madison University. And when Coach Cignetti leaves James Madison to Indiana, he brings Sarah with him to Indiana. And Sarah kept doing what he's been doing. High school, Division II, Division I, now up at Indiana, number 1 team in the country. He's been doing it. Potential is permission to start. Production is permission to keep going, to stay, to keep building. That's the big difference maker right now between potential and production. Cignetti, it's not that he shames potential, okay? But he doesn't get starstruck by it. He doesn't worship it. It's like, show me the data. Show me the results, all right? I remember in the Marine Corps, and we'll talk about this like a self-filter process. I went through officer candidate school, became commissioned officer, went to basic school. And just to make the story easier, say there was 150 of us second lieutenants that were interested in becoming infantry officers. And oh man, I just remember everyone talking about how bad they wanted to be an infantry, they want to be a grunt, they want to be up there in the front, pointing the spear. And then we do like a week long, like 5 days field exercise, the first one out of this training, where we all, be infantry. We practice infantry tactics. And that number 150 fell to like less than 50 because people realize being out in the bush, right? It's too hard. It's too much weight to carry. It's too gruesome, whatever it is, right? They like self-filter themselves out and they realize what it really is. We all had massive potential. I remember seeing all these people like, man, they could be a way better infantry guy than me, right? And then once they actually do it, they realize this is not really what I want to do, right? I look at businesses and startups. It's so easy to be focused on resumes. You look at resumes, and all these people come from Ivy Leagues, right? Well, they all did. They all did. What have you done? Show me a track record of where you've actually built a startup and you've had to go all in and take massive amount of risks with your life and your finances to make something work and wield it and learned and troubled and failed along the way and learned through that versus just studying it in an air-conditioned classroom where you're going to get paid regardless. It's a big deal. I also remember when I was at McKinsey, I got to train. I was a consultant. I was able to be trained to do interviews. And I love this question. And I did this also as I would prepare. I used to coach a lot of people to get into McKinsey. And the question was very simple. What's the hardest thing you've ever done? And some of these answers are just, it didn't make any sense. I remember, I think one person told me, oh, the phone died at work. That's the hardest thing you've ever done. And you got all these degrees from all these places. Like the data, right? It's not just potential, it's production. What have you done? What have you done? I also see this when I talk to people. They're like, well, I've been thinking about starting a business, but they haven't done anything towards it. I've been thinking about losing weight, but they haven't built a structure to do it. I've been wanting to get rid of my debt, but I haven't started the snowball effect at all, right? Potential is a story that we tell ourselves, but production is proof over time that we're doing it, okay? And this can be tough to hear. It's going to be really hard to hear because people like to hide behind potential. You can't argue with potential. There's different levels of potential. Some have higher than others, but still there. You could do it. I hear this term. I could do it if I wanted to. You clearly don't want to because you're not doing anything towards that way. You're not getting messy. You're not getting dirty. You're not learning, right? I could if I want to. You might as well just not even bring it up, right? Production is different. It's measurable. You can get data. You learn from it. It's tough. It's getting in there. Okay? It requires showing up, right? And that's the beauty of the programs that I have is once you invest in it, you're going to show up because you invested in it. And once you show up and you're all in, that's where that growth happens. The free stuff, it's just too easy. Maybe I'll try it, maybe I don't. No skin in the game, no investment, nothing ever happens. See it all the time. So the question I have for you under this point, we're talking about football, right? Is where are you hiding behind potential rather than building production? That's the question I have for you. Let's go back to football. So the third reason why Indiana dominated Oregon is because the emotional control is their secret weapon. This is so easy to overlook. You can look at all the other stuff I've talked about or the way the plays or who they have on their team, but their biggest advantage, the one that people miss, is their emotional stability while they play their game. Coach Cignetti was asked before this game, talked about, well, why do you coach the whole game, right? Why are you always so serious? Why are you so serious? And he said, well, if we have 150 plays in the game, I demand all my players to play out hard every play, all 150 plays. And if I expect that from them, then I need to coach hard every play, all 150 plays as well. Okay? The same standard goes on every place. And I love his answer because that's the way I coach. I'm a head coach. I see it all the time. Coaches jumping up and down. Maybe I'm too calm. I've been told that people ask me, why are you so calm? No one's shooting at me. Okay. And even when they were shooting at me, I was still calm under fire. But no one's shooting at me. I feel like I'd be drinking tea on the sideline. I get on my players. I'm very focused, but I'm stable. I'm very focused. All attention on the game. All right. So I love that answer that Coach Cignetti talked about. And we do see it. Like I've seen coaches jumping up and down. Sometimes they have meltdowns of panics when things are going bad in the game, when they're down a lot of points. Every quarter, it's a different motion. and that shows up. I've seen coaches fall on the floor. I've seen coaches. I had this one game where the coach ran from his side all the way across the court, grabbed one of his big players and took him to the rim, and was yelling at him with under the rim. What is this? Right? Coaches are there to be a point of leadership, to lead these people, to lead these young people. Man, players mirror the coach. And I think that was part of the challenge I had with Sharon Moore when he was at Michigan, is that he was a very emotional coach. He coached like he was a player, right? And then the players showed up that way. So it was just up and down. And this is a strength that Indiana has. Okay. I love this example. There was one play in particular that I think really showcases this. And I'll explain it to non-football people. But you have these big offensive linemen. They're usually around 300 pounds. They're very large, and they block anyone that's trying to attack the quarterback. So they hike the ball, the quarterback's behind them, and the offensive linemen are holding these people in place. Well, Mendoza, which is a quarterback, first ever Heisman winner for Indiana, he's a quarterback, and Fernando Mendoza, the play breaks down. And so he ends up having to run through the lineman. Okay. So it's a broken play. He's running. He makes a move. He tries to spin move. Not as good as spin moves I used to make in high school, but he does the spin move, and the ball gets punched, and it's a fumble. So it's a live ball, and it goes. But immediately, one of the linemen jumps up and gets it. It was on the floor for less than a blink. An offensive lineman jumped on it. If you watch the replay, this is the secret sauce, right? You watch the replay. The linemen are blocking, and the moment Mendoza crosses that plane, this lineman is charging behind him, just in case there's something he can do to help his quarterback. And when the ball fumbles, he's already there. And you might have seen, if you watched football before, how many times quarterbacks might go and they drop the fumble, and lineman's like this, and he sees the fumble, and then he scrambles. No, it was the moment he passed, he charged behind them. It was not the play. The play was not set up for Mendoza to go and fumble it and give it to his lineman. But it almost looked that way because the lineman was right there. That's not by chance. Those are habits. And those habits are built by good coaching and good leadership to make sure everyone is doing their job every single play. And in that moment, they saved a turnover, and they were able to score. Okay, it's habits. Culture shows up in the moments you least expect. It shows up in the unplanned moments. Okay, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your lowest level of training. And in that case, if the training was run behind your quarterback every single time, then that's what he did. And he was at the right place at the right time because he did his job, even when no one else was looking. Okay, Indiana's habits are elite, and it's because they don't have good coaching. They have great coaching. It's amazing to watch them. Okay, and I want you to think about this. I'm going to compare and contrast. Emotional intensity, it feels good. It feels powerful. But emotional stability is powerful. It does not feel powerful. It is powerful. Emotional intensity is like a sprint. It's like, I'm going to go 100 yards. But emotional stability is like going and going and going, and you can build off of it, and you can scale, and you can just keep going. Okay? It's a different level. And that's the question I have for you. Where right now in your life are you leading through emotional intensity other than emotional stability? That's the question I have for you. So let's wrap up. Those were the three things I wanted to focus on why Indiana demolished Oregon, a much higher talented team. And that leads us to our key takeaways. So I got my college basketball whiteboard here to go over our key takeaways. So the first one, eliminate self-sabotage. You'll be amazed by how much you sabotage yourself, your team sabotage yourself, company sabotage yourself. There's so much coaching that I do around agreements. Well, did you make good agreements? Are they clear? Are they doing it for the sake of the future or just compliance? There's a whole area in there. Okay. Eliminate self-sabotage. Indiana does a great job of eliminating self-sabotage, and they let the other guys make mistakes. I tell that to my basketball teams all the time. Let them make the mistakes. We do simple plays. Let them make the mistakes. Second, production over potential. Yes, potential gets you in the door, gives you a chance, but production really shows if you're worth sticking around, building upon. And they really focus on production. Show me the data. What have you done? Don't just tell me, show me. And the third one, emotional control scales. That stability is so powerful because you can predict the habits. You focus on the habits, not just the emotions that go up and down. Okay, emotional stability, emotional control. It scales. It scales. So those are our main takeaways for this episode. And I hope you enjoyed going over the Indiana-Oregon game. Miami is going to be an interesting game, national championship game. It just happens to be at their home stadium. And I would just mention really quickly with Miami, they're a hot team. Hot teams are hard to beat. But going back to what we talked about earlier, eliminate self-sabotage, they are very good at self-sabotaging themselves. They have a lot of turnovers. They have a lot of penalties that they do themselves. I would be very surprised if Indiana does not win this game, but it should be a good game coming up here in a few days. So as we wrap this up, whether you're leading yourself, leading others, or leading leaders, be a leader. My name is Daniel Pinedo. Thank you so much, and until next time.